Hey everybody, today I'm going to teach you how to draw a human eye. The one we're going to be drawing, I'm doing it on colored construction paper. This is an example of a smaller version finished. I have used a pencil to begin, and when I was done I went over it with a black Sharpie, and then I added highlights with a white crayon, some shadows with a black, and added a little extra midtones with a green. So I'm going to show you on a little bit bigger piece of paper, and this time it's going to be on pink. I have pre-sectioned this paper. I have drawn a X in the center, and I have drawn an X from corner to center my pupil. So to begin, I'm going to be drawing a sort of rainbow. The rainbow is going to be centered with the center of the paper going from here to here. Let me draw my rainbow. That's the top part of the eye. Here is where the tear duct is. We're going to drop that down to this corner line. So I'm going to go from that rainbow here to make my tear duct. After I'm done with my tear duct, the eye should raise up slightly to go back to the end of the rainbow. So here I'm going to draw the bottom of my eye meeting back at the top of my rainbow. So that's the basic shape of the eye. This is still the center. At the center of the eye will be the pupil. The pupil is the black center circle of the eye, which I'm going to put here. And later I will fill it in with a black crayon, but for now I'm going to leave it like that. And around the pupil is the iris. The iris takes up a majority of the eyeball, but there is some white space that will be here. So from what I normally see is the iris will touch the top of the eyelid, but usually have a little bit of room down at the bottom. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and draw my circle and almost take it down to the bottom, but not quite. I'd probably come back later with a compass and straighten up the circle, but for now I think that's going to do. And you always want to leave a reflection in the eye, which depends on where you are. If you're outside and the sun is the reflection, it would be a circle. If you're inside under lights, it would be probably a block, depending on what kind of lights you have. Where I am right now, I have my overhead lights, which are like a block. So I'm going to add a block into the eye, and that will stay white later. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the tear duct in the bottom inside of the lid. Usually we see that part and not the inside of the top. So I'm going to create the shape of my tear duct there, and then draw a very thin line for the skin of the bottom lid. This tear duct will also have a very shiny spot in the eye. I'm going to leave that white. I will not color it in or leave it paper. Then the next thing is the eyelashes. The thing about the eyelashes that we have to pay attention to is the center line. The eyelashes at the top of the eye are a little longer, and the eyelashes at the bottom are pretty short. From this line, as the eyelashes go to the right, they will gradually start bending to the right. Keep the smaller lashes at the bottom and the bigger ones at the top. You can kind of think of it like a clock. If my marker is the hand of a clock, the eyelashes will go in the direction of the hand of the clock. When they meet 12 or 6, they will go straight. So now if we're going back to 9, they will start bending this way. And as they get to the tear duct, they will gradually start getting smaller and eventually just fade off. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is, if you think about the eyelid, it's always opening and shutting when it blinks. And when the eye is shut, the eyelid is stretched out. When the eye opens, it wrinkles up. So if this eye is open, you will have a small little bitty rainbow here that's basically just the eye wrinkling up. And you will also have one under the eye. Some people have more wrinkles than others depending on your age. Next thing we'll do is we're going to focus on the iris. Everyone's iris is a little bit different, but at the same time, it is like the design of the iris to also use the hands of the clock in the design that each person's eye has. So most of the time, the outside line of the iris is going to be black. So I'm going to make sure that this is nice and thick and straight and black. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some lines into my iris that I have pre-drawn with a pencil, just like 12, 3, 6, and 9 on the clock. And then I'm going to add other hands in here. These lines were already drawn when I did the X's on my paper. And I'm going to go in between those lines and add some more, trying to keep them consistent. And then the designs are always going to be different inside the eye. I usually notice that it's a little bit darker on the edge of the iris. So I'm going to just add some designs into the outside of the eye here. And then I'm going to take my black crayon and fill this in black. I don't want to waste the ink in my Sharpie. Crayons are a lot less expensive than Sharpies. Sharpies are just for the outline part. And so the other colors I've chosen is white, and for my pink paper I've chosen a red violet. You want to choose a medium tone that's a little bit darker than your paper. So usually this part of the eye is white, but it does create a shadow here because of the lid and a shadow here because of that lid. So I'm going to lightly color it in white. But here in the center where the light would be strong, I'm going to push a little bit harder with my white crayon. Same thing over here. I'm also following the contour of the pupil and iris, keeping my lines round as I color. Rounded, and I'm going to make sure that I color in my highlights in my eye as white as I can get it, and in my tear duct. The only other places I would use white is on my wrinkles of my eye, where the light would hit the top of the wrinkle and then it would have a shadow at the bottom of the wrinkle. Kind of like that. Then I'm going to use my mid-tone color to fill in around the eye where there would be shadow. A little bit here, soft shadow, and a shadow underneath this wrinkle here, and a shadow underneath this wrinkle as well, underneath the eye here. And I'm going to use my black crayon just to kind of make a darker area around the iris. An iris can be so many different colors. It can be dark brown, light brown, golden brown, greenish brown, bluish brown, hazel, light blue. In this case, this eye is going to be pink because my paper is pink. But where I'm adding this black, it will be a little bit darker around the outside of the iris. Next, I'm going to take my red violet crayon, and I'm going to color the rest of the iris in kind of like a sunshine, going in the direction of the clock hands like I was talking about before. I'm going to make it a little bit darker around this highlight just to add contrast so the white looks even whiter. And a little bit darker around the outside to blend in with the black. Then I'm going to take a little bit of white and just add some just little areas of variety in the eye, inside the iris. Just kind of get those blended together nice and neatly. And a little highlight here. And really, I guess you could say that this is finished. I might just add a few more areas of shadow and highlight, but basically, you could say this is a finished eye. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned a little bit about how to draw a human eye. Okay.